Hello, VC, and all of my record collecting brothers and sisters. It's that time of year again. The Mega Record Fair is just around the corner. This time around, I'm going to get into the spirit and share with you some info, tips, and best practices to make any trip to the big event fun and enjoyable. Now, this will be divided into a 6-episode series, so sit back and enjoy what I hope will be a fun ride. So if you're new here, welcome in, and if you're a repeat offender, welcome back. I'm Johnny, you're watching Channel 910, and this is the Road to Den Bosch. So before we get fully engaged in conversation, I ask that you like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you have something to say, drop it down there in the comments. And if you know somebody who might like this video, definitely share it with them. It helps us out over here. So in the first episode of the series, we talked about what the Mega Record Fair is, what the surrounding area is like, and some of the pros and cons of attending for one day versus multiple days. But now that we've kind of scratched the surface, let's go through the doors. Let's see what's kind of inside this record fair and talk about the vendors and some of the other events that take place during these 3 days. Now, I mentioned in the first episode that there are over 600 vendors at this event. Now, that's a lot of people dealing records, so you have to be able to kind of figure out how to navigate around and make the most of what's offered to you. So what the organizers at Record Planet have tried to do with this Mega Record Fair is kind of organize the way the vendors are set up by genre. This is kind of loose, but it more or less stays true to its roots, meaning that, you know, on the map, you see over here, the metal section, most of those dealers specialize in metal. The alternative section's alternative. The jazz section is jazz, the prog is prog, so on and so forth. And then everything else that doesn't really fit a specific genre just goes into general. And the reason I say this is kind of loose is because if someone is in the metal section of the floor plan, it doesn't necessarily mean that all they have is metal. They can deal, and they usually do deal with other genres as well. So you won't just get stuck in the land of punk and have no way out but through the Ramones or something. You will find other things. So, but it is a good kind of roadmap to get you where you want to be. So along with those genre sections, there are also countries from all over the world scattered throughout. And yes, you're going to see a lot from the Netherlands, a lot from Germany. The other European countries are well represented between Italy, Spain, France. You have the UK. There are some US sellers. You have South Korea, Japan, Brazil, African countries. There's a little bit of everything from everywhere. Now, you can hit the floor on day one and just try to find all of these vendors on your own from all these different countries, but it is actually a lot easier to go to the official website and actually look at the entire dealer list, and you can actually sort by keywords, and sometimes just putting the country in as the keyword will show you all the vendors that come from that country. It's a good way to kind of do your homework in advance so that you're not going in every direction when you do get to the show, in case you're looking for something from specific countries. So after mentioning the fact that there are genre sections within the floor plan, and then there's also different countries that you're dealing with, it's a really good idea to kind of overlap those two, looking at the floor plan with the numbered booths, and you look at the vendor list that actually is corresponding those booth numbers with the dealer themselves, and you can really kind of start making your roadmap to get through this event. And I know some of you are saying, like, really, I have to make a roadmap just to go to different vendors at a record show? Yes, you really do. It's that large of an event that if you don't make this roadmap, you just wander aimlessly. And if that's how you want to do it, is just wander until you find something, then hey, that's cool. That's the way you do it. This is kind of my way because, again, I'm trying to maximize my time while I'm there, and I only have a few days, so the roadmap helps. And while you're going around to all these vendors from all over the globe, get their contact information, because a lot of them are willing to ship outside of their home country to wherever you are. Now, again, shipping costs are involved, but if you run across a vendor that's got a lot of stuff that really interests you, maybe you can't pick all of it up at one time, but you want to follow up with this vendor, or maybe they can actually try to procure you something that you've been looking for. This is a great opportunity to network. So always be open to trading business cards with some of these vendors. It's a great way to improve your collection. Now, aside from the 600 booths of record vendors, there are actually other events that go on at the Mega Record Fair. Omega Auctions from the UK does high-end collectible auctions. Usually it's up in the lobby. Like when you first walk in, you'll see their big setup. It's a great opportunity to, even if you're not going to bid, to actually lay eyes on some very, very high-end, very collectible items that you might only see a couple of times in your collecting life. So super cool, and you can always just kind of sit back and watch the auctions take place if you like that kind of thing. Kind of exciting. Take a break from the floor and go check out the auction. They usually run the auction itself on Saturdays, usually around midday. So it's just something where you can break away for an hour or so and just kind of check it out if that's your kind of thing. And hey, if you have deep pockets, maybe you make some bids too. So Omega Auctions is just one of the additional events. Something else that's usually at the Mega Record Fair, it's not necessarily an event, but to me, it's a little different than your typical record vendor on the floor. And these are the booths that offer stuff like turntables and accessories and cleaning products, t-shirts, swag, posters, all that kind of stuff. It's just any kind of random memorabilia or record hobby related items that aren't records themselves. And there's a few of these scattered throughout on the vendor floor. Some of them are located right up in the lobby, up where Omega Auctions takes place. So these are kind of cool, just to kind of, again, take a break from the floor and go look at some new turntables, or maybe grab some custom slip mats, or grab some cleaning accessories. But always remember, whatever you pick up, you have to get home, which we'll talk about in a future episode, but always just kind of a nugget of information to keep in the back of your mind. There's oftentimes live performances, and those live performers will usually do Q&A sessions before or after their set. They'll do autograph sessions. So it's pretty cool to take in some actual live music at the event as well. And speaking of autograph sessions, there usually is some kind of, for whatever reason, like a book signing there too. So you'll have an author that has done they've written a book that's music related, record related, and they'll be there to talk about their book, and they'll usually do a signing afterwards. So if you're into books, if you're into autographs, it's a win-win. Yeah, and there's also a DJ that usually kind of opens the event up, the MC of the event, as you will. But they will be, spinning tunes the entire time. They're usually located over by the food court. Did I mention there's a food court? You can get everything from coffee to hot dogs, sandwiches to beer. I mean, you get kind of everything at this place. They know you're going to be there for a while, so you can get everything from breakfast to lunch, and maybe even some kind of light dinner as well. So you have food options right there in the record show. And you can get all of this information, like the times, the musical performers, the exact locations within the fair, all of those details at the official website. I'll put a link down in the description. And hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of what to expect from the vendors and the event as a whole, outside of just flipping through crates. There's a lot to do at the Mega Record Fair in Den Bosch. But that's all for this episode. Make sure to check out episode 3, where I talk about making your want list. But until we meet up in that next episode, be cool, love each other, and if you're spinning, you're winning.